products I will never import again in 2026 as a mini importer. Now, any product that I'm going to be listing in this particular video, I'm not saying that they are just bad, like nothing you can do with it, no. But I'm saying that these are items that, especially for my beginners, if you're just starting out, these are items that, it will not help your business. If you're just starting out, these are not products that you can build a reputable or a good brand on. So if you're just starting out, you should consider getting other different things to supplement it, or you just avoid them, because these items are not items that will actually help your mini importation business in 2026. But before we get right into it, do well to like this video, share it with friends, and most importantly, subscribe to this channel. On Simply Dorkie's channel, I teach you how to start and grow your mini importation business. Let's get started. The very first one is going to be Stanley caps. Now, before we get into Stanley caps, okay, I need us to understand one thing about products, like how products behave, or the type of products. We have the fad fashion products and we have evergreen products. So these fad fashion products are products that just become very trendy at a go or at a very fast rate, and by the time you realize this product is nowhere to be heard about. And the evergreen products are products that are always in demand, no matter the time, the season, or any time at all, they are in high demand. One mistake you should avoid as a mini importer is you interchanging these two, or not understanding these two different categories of products very well, because you're going to end up importing items that in the long run, by the time you are now ready to actually start making sale on it, then the item has actually died off, or the item is not in demand anymore. So if you fail to understand these two things clearly and understand it very well, it's really going to affect your mini importation business. Now, let's take fad fashion and this evergreen fashion, okay, or evergreen products. There are actually some products that when you yourself, you just think about or think around, right? You realize that there are certain items that just came into the market, like there was everywhere. And by the time you realize right now, you can't even hear of it anymore. Those are the fad fashion. And these evergreen items, there are certain items that were in demand, or that people were already importing even before we got into mini importation. As of right now, people are still buying it, or it's still in demand. Even in future, people will still purchase it as a high demand item or product. Okay, so you need to actually understand these two things very well and clearly as a mini importer, so that you don't sometimes waste your money. It's not every fad fashion product that you must even jump on. It's not any trendy item that is going on everywhere that you must actually import as a mini importer. You also need to identify these items very early, jump on it fast before it actually dies out. The reason being that you don't want a situation whereby items start to get trendy, right? Then you feel like, okay, this item is actually going to be evergreen. By the time you realize you have bought so many pieces of it, by the time it gets down, it also takes a while. By the time it gets down over here, the fashion for that item is gone, or the demand for that item is gone. You don't want that type of situation. The example that I'll use for this is Labubu. Who can hear of Labubu again? I mean, like, who can hear of Labubu again? But I will tell you definitely that, there are still Labubus, like boxes of Labubus in some mini importers warehouses, some mini importer shops. They don't even know what to do with it. Because this thing, I think the trend just took like 2 to 3 months, right? Just like very fast. It was very fast. It just came for some weeks, and everywhere Labubu, and everybody was talking about So somebody who did not really study the market well would just feel like, oh, look how people are talking about, let me bring it in. Then the person goes to buy like some few boxes, and by the time it gets to their place, then the fashion is gone. Nobody is asking of it anymore. Then you don't know what to do with it. So this Stanley cap is one of those items. They are those fad fashion products. So they are items that maybe because of somebody that is over hyping it, or somebody that has put a lot of marketing into it, or celebrities that get on it, or influencers that get on it. There are so many things that can make a product fad fashion. So it means that product is not really essential product. That product is not really something that is so valuable, but some people just overhype it. Yes. So by the time you realize, the fashion for it is gone, and this particular one is part of those items. The next one is going to be face mask. I mean, like in 2026, what are you going to What are you buying face masks to come and do as a mini importer, especially my beginners? What are you buying this to come and do? Let's say that maybe you are already into skincare, and you are buying this to complement something. You are adding extra value, which that is what 2026 is actually going to stand for. You are adding extra value to whatever thing that you are importing, right? So this particular face mask over here, all you are going to do is that maybe you are already into it. You are going to use it to supplement something. That is it. Apart from that, just avoid starting a business on this, because these are really very, very cheap, affordable items. Once you get onto these platforms, once you say Pinduoduo, Alibaba, you get them at very, very good prices. But it doesn't mean that since they are good prices, there are things that you can start businesses on. You can't start anything on only face mask. Face mask is a no-no, especially if you are just starting. The next one is going to be this silver crest blender. Now, I'm not saying this is a bad, like an item that you can virtually use to do that. No, this is the blender that I use in my home. Okay, this is the blender that I use. So it's a very, very good, effective blender. If only you get the right one, the one that has the right motor. Okay, that is me, the one that is important, that trusts my own self, that I am using it. Somebody who has never bought from me before, it will be very difficult to convince the person to buy this because of the misconceptions that this blender has around it. This blender, when even you go on TikTok and you just type it there, you will see so many things, so many misconceptions. But we also have the good ones, okay? But if you don't get the good ones, you will just, end up buying whatever thing that you don't even know what you use it for as a mini import, especially my beginners. People that are already in the business, if you try to convince your customers, yes, they might buy. Okay, but you that you are just beginning, imagine selling this to somebody and the person doesn't even use it up to 1 week. Just imagine, like the first time of plugging this in, the motor just blows off. Look at what this thing is going to do to your business. And most of these ones is like that. If you don't meet the good supplier, you are definitely going to mess up with this particular blend. And most of the suppliers will not give you the right one. That is how this particular one is. So, and this one too has been in the system for a very long time. So most people have very bad reviews about it. So if you're just starting out, I wouldn't advise, and this is a product that I will not buy in 2026. The next one is going to be buying bills on 1688. This thing has happened to me before as a beginner on 1688. I actually saw these very nice dresses and the lady was, I think, 30 pieces or so. Or 10 pieces. I actually got 10 pieces of these ones. And guess what? When these dresses came, they were very lightweight, and like I was even lucky that I even got dresses, but they were lightweight. Lightweight and see-through. But you see these bills I'm talking about, those ones you go and meet 100 pieces, they'll be like part 6 RMB, jeans 5 RMB, t-shirt 6 RMB, whatever. Those are just baller goods that they are going to send to you. This thing, I've spoken about it. I don't even know how many times I'll be talking about. I've spoken about it most of the time. I've spoken about it. But one thing that prompted this was recently somebody from my YouTube community here actually contacted me, and he was having a particular situation. So I was trying to help the person sort it out, and by the time I realized that the person had bought some t-shirts, like 50 pieces, and I was like, what type of t-shirt? And the person was like, oh, the person said that it's a bill, it's a mix. And I was like, I'm still waiting for him to send a review. I think the person haven't received yet per the time difference, but by that time the person have already made the purchase and the item have gotten to the warehouse and all of that. Now, I'm not saying that clothing in general, okay, it's not clothing in general. In fact, this particular one that I'm wearing over here, okay, I got it on 160. It's a 2-piece. It's very beautiful, very nice 2-piece. Okay, so I'm not saying that don't get clothing over there, but anything overstock, do well to avoid anything overstock on the 160. If you want to go into overstock, you want to go into the sale of overstock items, Shein, parts, those kinds of overstock items, I have a very, very comprehensive, like very easy, that's like the laziest man approach or laziest man way to import from China, that you can actually import these items without having any headaches at all. So you can actually join this particular course and learn how you can be able to get this. You'll get very, very reliable suppliers that wouldn't send you baller goods. You'll also get very, very good and reliable suppliers that you can even buy items that are not stock items. You can do your own selection. Very, very good, beautiful dresses for kids, for adults, for men. Okay, you can join that course and you will do yourself a lot of good. other than going to waste that money on 168, pay shipping fee on top, and when it gets to you, you still pay Bolama to come and take it. So do your due diligence to avoid these baller goods. It's something I will not be buying in 2026. You as a mini importer should also not be buying these goods in 2026. The next one is going to be anything fragile. I will not be buying anything fragile in 2026. Anything mirror, anything whatever, anything that can easily break. I and that thing, we are like apart. I will not be importing it because these are very high risky items to import, especially if you don't get a very good supplier or you don't get a very good shipping company. It is actually you are going to lose a lot of money. Even if I'm getting it, I will make sure that I get, maybe even if it's going to be a repacking agent somewhere, to actually do a proper packaging of the item before it gets down, especially if it's TV, like television. If you want to buy a TV or anything that can easily break, you can get a repacking agent to actually do that. But most of the suppliers that sell TVs should be able to put the frames around it for you, okay? But if you don't get, you can actually sort for a repacking agent. The next one is going to be these summer vibes tote bags, and that category of tote bags. If already you have the market for it, that is fine. But in 2026, you want to start something, you are starting it on summer vibes. These are, yes, these are part of the fad fashion. These are things that come not to stay. They come to just, for some time and they are gone. So if you treat this as an evergreen item, you will definitely have a lot of stocks that you won't know exactly what to do with it. Though ever since this tote bags started trending, I haven't bought some to sell before. But I can just see, I can see in 2026, this particular item over here is not going to be relevant. So, and not just this, but you see that category of tote bags, though in fact when you go on one city, you can virtually not use it to do anything. But when they put the pictures there, like, it looks very appealing. Yes, they'll put it like that for it to look appealing. So if you are buying, do well to check the prices, okay? You want to go into tote bags business, or you want to go into this, get proper quality ones which are on the same one city. You'll get very good quality tote bags that you can leverage on. Now, as I said from the beginning of this video, I'm not saying that these items are like a no, nobody should buy them to sell or something, but I'm just saying that these are items, most of these items are fad fashion, and most of these items are items that if you don't add a little bit of value to it, you can't really sell and make money from these items. Like, not just this, okay, but from the concept that I have given in this particular video, you should be able to figure out fad fashion from evergreen items, okay? So that before some items starts to trend a certain way in 2026, you can be able to tell if you should get onto this trend or you shouldn't get onto it. Because once you get on certain trends, it will be very difficult to recover, because you end up having stocks that you don't really know what you are going to do with those stocks. This brings us to the very end of this video. Do well to like this video, share with friends and family, most importantly subscribe to this channel, and I will see you in my next time.